Okay, so here I am the next morning with my cakes. Last night, after I pulled them out of the oven, I set them on baking racks and let them cool. Threw some cup towels over the top of them and let them cool off. And so now this morning, now I've got a little extra time. The boys are in the back doing their zoology, and that gives me a few minutes to kind of knock this out a little bit. I'm going to show you what I've already done to finish these off, or well, not completely finish them off, get them into the freezer and ready for me to pull back out in a couple of days and get them decorated. I've got some cream cheese frosting filling for the filling in between the layers on both of the cakes, and then there will be an additional element there as well. I took the cardboard cake boards that you can get. You can also just cut the side out of a box and cover it with, but I had those and I covered them in foil, and that's going to be my base, and then I will set these when they're done. I will set them onto a platter. But I have gone ahead and started loosening the layers and getting them started. They did come out fairly flat. I didn't have any huge domes, and one of them is flatter on the white cake. One of them is flatter than the other, so I'll go with that. The top can have a little dome to it. That doesn't bother me at all. But I'm going to go ahead and place the bottom layer on my cake board, and I've already put some of the filling into my bag here, and I'm just going to pipe out on the white cake. I'm going to kind of go around the edge with a big line of it, and then I'm just going to do a couple squiggles through the middle. And then on the devil's food, I'm going to kind of do the same thing, but I want to get a little more coverage on it. You'll understand why here in a minute. This is not decorating. This is just finding an easy way to get the icing in there without tearing everything up. I'm sure that you know, as soon as you start trying to frost a freshly baked cake, that little outer skin comes off, gets crumbs all into your icing, and it just looks awful. So one thing you can do is called a Skim-Coat. You just kind of take a light dusting of frosting around your cake, like not caring about the little crumblies that come up. Got more in there if I need it. But you can do that. Do a little Skim-Coat and just not worry about the crumblies, and wrap them up, stick them in the freezer when they are, or just chill them for a day or so. But when they're cold, especially frozen, they don't do that. You can go ahead and frost over your Skim-Coat, and it gives it a nice base, kind of like priming a wall before you paint it. Gives the paint a nice base to stick to. But okay, so I'm going to start here on the white cake. I mentioned that this is going to be my plum jam cake, plum sauce cake. I'm just going to kind of smear this just a touch. I still want that. I want that rim around the outer edge, because that's what's going to help to hold my sauce into the center. And then on this one, I'm just going to kind of push in, fill those holes there. When I put the cake on top of it, it's going to squish it down anyway, but instead of having any big holes, I want to make sure that it's mostly everywhere. On the devil's food cake, in the interior, because this is a fun birthday cake for the boys, I thought I would add a few chocolate chips. I don't have any mini chips today, but this will be fine, as it's going to freeze and then it's going to thaw, and that stuff right there will really moisten, and everything will just kind of blend together. It won't be biting into a big hard bit. So okay, so that's the center for the what will be our big devil's food cake. And now I've got my plum sauce, which was supposed to be plum jam, and it just didn't quite make it. Let me get a fresh knife. It's got a wonderful flavor, but it just refused to fully set up. You can see how it's just kind of running across there. Now I'm gonna push this out to the edges. I don't want it to go past the edge, really. If it does, it's not gonna kill anything, but I'd rather it kind of hang up here. Plums are a big fruit down here in the South where we are. There are plum trees everywhere. We've got quite a few plum trees ourselves, but everyone has plum trees and everyone's got plums. And so it's something that we, those of us who can, typically can up plum jam and all other kinds of plum stuff every year. But this really makes an excellent cake. Excellent, excellent cake. Okay, so that part's done. I'm going to go ahead now and get the upper layers set in place. Okay, so now my layers are filled and stacked. My next step is going to be wrapping them in saran wrap, plastic wrap, and getting them in the freezer. As I said, I'm going to pull them out here in a couple of days, and find my plastic wrap. I'm going to pull them out here in a couple days, and that's when I'm going to do the rest of the actual decorating. So it'll be nice and fresh. I'll do another wrap the other direction. Make sure that it's good and tight before I go and stick it in the freezer. Of course, I'm going to have to pull some things out and make room in the freezer. I would say that's a good reason to grill, but it's going to be raining for the next 3 days, so I don't think we're going to be doing any grilling. Okay, so now it is all wrapped, and that can go straight to the freezer. I will finish wrapping this one and get them in there, and then I will show you what's going to happen when I pull them out here in a couple of days. Okay, so it is the morning of the party, and I'm trying to get this done. I'm running a little bit behind. I've got both cakes still to finish. I did pull them out late last night and pull them out of the freezer, unwrap them, and get a kind of a skim coat on them. Put them back in to chill. And I'm starting with the jam cake. This will be a really easy process. I wanted to show you what I'm doing. I've tried to get everything else out and ready set up for me to knock this process out. But I wanted to show you what I'm doing. I'm not trying to do any kind of fancy decorating here, not fancy. I'm a baker. I'm known for how yummy my baked goods are. I'm not a cake decorator. I'm not the, I don't go out and do fancy cakes. Now I will say this, I'm a mother of 5. My oldest is 26, and I have been doing birthday parties for kids for a long time, and I always try to go all out and do, until this year, I always try to go all out and do lots of, really awesome birthdays, and I do crazy cakes, but I wouldn't say that they are, bakery quality as far as the decorating goes, because that's just not where I spend my time. I spend my time making sure that the cakes are really moist and yummy. And what I'm doing right now, just so you know, I'm not purposefully trying to make an ugly cake. This cake just needs to have frosting all over it. And this is one of the most efficient ways to get the frosting where you need it before you spread it. So that is what I'm doing. I loaded it into the bag, and I am just squeezing it out here. There we go. That's better than trying to dip in and smear across. So many things happen. Chunks break off and whatever. So I didn't want that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and go around, try to fill any gaps. I don't have one of those fancy motorized turntables, so I just use one hand and spin it around, try to, like I say, I'm just trying to fill in the gaps right now so there's no gaping holes in my frosting. Now, on the top, what I really want is a place, like a well, to hold the additional jam, like what we put in the filling. So I'm just going to go across here and see what I can. I'm covering up all the spots that still have a little bit of cake showing through first. Make sure that there's a lot of frosting up there. Okay, we have full coverage now. And like I said, I'm not terribly concerned about this cake having, like pretty designs and all that. However, what I'm gonna do, I've got a lot of icing on the top, frosting on the top. I'm going to kind of push it to the outer edges here. Okay. Now I'm just making an edge. I'm making an edge that will kind of stand up and hold on to the plum sauce. That one may leak. It's like building a dam. We don't want a spillway here. But if we get one, that's okay. It's still gonna taste yummy. I am a messy cook. That's why the apron. I am a really messy cook. My husband and daughter really like to make fun of me about that. When my daughter was still at home, one of her main chores was the kitchen. take care of the kitchen, do the dishes, and clean off the counters. She would walk in the house from work or wherever and see me cooking and be like, Mom. When I cook, there's typically flour everywhere or powdered sugar everywhere. Okay. All right. There's plenty of frosting on the top, and I've got kind of a well made. Now I'm going to see if I can show this to you, so you can kind of see what I've got going on there. Now, I'm going to take my plum sauce. Hope that I don't have a spillway. I'm telling you right now, this cake it's so good. Some of my family members who will be here for the party today have never had this one before, so they will get to taste test, but my family has already decided that this is their new favorite cake. Okay, so now we have filling on the inside, filling on the top. It's got a well there, so it's holding it in, not dripping out, and that's really what I want for this one. It's going to be a yummy, moist cake once we cut into it. I'll take pictures and you'll be able to see kind of how it turns out on the inside as well. But I'm about to go stick this one back in the fridge and let it chill and set up a little bit more before I take it back out for the party. But next step is going to be the chocolate cake. Now that one's going to be a little bit more involved. And like I say, not a cake decorator, but I'm going to be decorating that cake. I have some cool ideas for it. One of the cakes that we did for my boys last year was similar to this. But I've got the chocolate frosting in here, and I'm going to be making up some chocolate ganache for a drizzle, and I've got some cool things to put on the cake. So anyhow, that'll be next. Okay, now I'm ready for the chocolate cake. Now you might see the mess that I've got going on here. I'm going to go ahead and give you an idea of what's going on. The chocolate cake is already got full coverage last night, and it's chilled and everything. I have just started my ganache. It's equal parts chocolate. I just use chocolate chips and heavy cream. I boiled the heavy cream, brought it to boil in the microwave, and poured it into the chocolate chips. I'm going to let it sit there a minute, start softening, and then I'm going to get over there and start stirring it. Now what I'm doing here, because I've already got full coverage on the cake, I'm just going to start adding a little bit here because I need places. Basically, I need this to be glue. I need places to stick stuff. This is going to have candy and cookies and all that all over it. So that's what I'm doing now. I wanted to show you this. At the end of my pastry bag, or icing bag, I've got a those little chip clips that you just fold over and lock. I have found, because I'm such a messy cook, this actually helps quite a bit. I just use a chip clip and squish it together, clip it up, and it may not seal it fully, but it does give me something to hold on to. So I like that as I'm spinning it down. Now all I'm doing, I've just got a basic like star type tip on there, and I want to go along the bottom here, make some little doodads all the way across the bottom. That'll give me a little something to, see the top just opened up. Actually, that's a edge. When I get a little bit further down, I can seal that better. Like I said, I'm a messy cook. Doesn't really matter what I'm doing, I'm making a mess. These little turntables sure do come in handy. sure the motorized kind would be way handy. If I was actually a cake decorator, that is. Okay, just about got that part handled. Okay, so now the bottom has a little rim around it, and that'll give me a little bit of something for my stuff. I better redo that. Well, I can hold on to that part. All right, now, should I do the ganache first? Yes, I should. Okay, rinse my hands off. The cream, hot cream, has set in there for just a bit. Should be, yep, it's softening up. So now I'm going to start stirring. Let's see if I can get it to blend up. I did a 1-to-1 ratio, 1 cup of chips and 1 cup of cream. I'm just going to take it across the outer rim. Really don't need that much, but I can eat the rest. Okay, looks like we are melted up. I am going to pour it into my little bottle here. Let's see my chocolate ganache. Use a funnel. You can use whatever chocolate you like best. I mean, there's such a good variety out there now to choose from. I'm gonna see, it's got a kind of a smallish hole, and we'll see what that does. I may have to cut a little bit larger one. What I'm gonna do is go around the outer edge and give it a few places to drip down over. It's just warm. As it cools, it sets up. I think I remember my grandmother, when I used to cook with her doing some things, she used to use, I want to say, paraffin wax on some of her stuff, candy making and what have you. I was pretty young at that point doing the candies, but I want to say she used paraffin wax to help make a chocolate that would firm up, and I can't be positive on that. If anyone knows, I would love to see a comment or something, hear about it. I know that she used to use paraffin wax to seal up her jams and jellies when she made them. Instead of doing the normal canning process like I do, she would pour paraffin over the top. So when you opened up a brand new jar of jelly, you had to pop the paraffin out of the top of it. Now see, doesn't that look cool? Looks dadgum delicious to me. It's what it looks like to me. Okay, now see, something as simple as that, making a mess, dripping the chocolate around there is gonna make me look like a genius, and my kids are gonna just go nuts. Okay, so now that I've got that will set up as it cools, and it's actually already starting to set up a little bit. But now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give the stuff that I'm gonna put on top, I'm gonna give it a place to stick into. This is gonna be like chocolate death. That's what it's gonna be. There is gonna be so much chocolate on this cake. I'm looking forward to seeing my children's reaction because they are gonna think I am super cool. And I totally am. Okay, I've got a little bit left in case I need to add a little extra as I start putting this stuff in. There is not really a rhyme or reason. I don't have a big plan, but Logan and Mason are my two sons that we are celebrating their birthday. Their birthdays are only couple weeks apart, 16 days or something like that. So we have always celebrated their birthdays together. And Logan's gonna be 14 and Mason 11, just turned 11. And I'm pretty sure that they are now wanting their birthdays to be separated. So this may be the last one. But, okay, so now I'm going to, look what we got here. Now I'm going to start taking some of this yummy stuff that my kids love and just playing. I'm just gonna start sticking stuff in where I think it looks cool. It's gonna have to kind of go down into the cake a little bit, but that's all right. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to put the cake back in the fridge to allow it to continue keeping a chill. Okay. See what else we've got here. There's no rhyme or reason. I'm just gonna shove things in here to make it as absolutely cool and decorated and decadent as possible. And who doesn't love fudge stripe cookies, right? Okay. All right, so that's kind of cool. So now we'll go with some candy. This is just going to be serious chocolate overload. But that's okay, because we have got a family that will absolutely eat it up. Love Kit Kats, they're so yummy. When I was in Afghanistan, one of my favorite things that I got to have was on the little care packages that people would send over to us specifically, and then also to the USO, and we were able to go over to the USO sometimes and pick things up. There was always little Kit Kats, And I don't know how they managed it, because I mean, it was so hot, and I don't know how they were able to get it shipped over there without them completely melting. But I looked forward to finding a care package that had Kit Kats in it. One of those simple little things that just put a smile on my face. My youngest loves white chocolate, and I got these little cookies, these ones with cookies and cream. I guess he'll like this one. He's a big white chocolate fan. Okay, Whoppers. Candy from my childhood. How about some Milk Duds? I guess I could have gotten some M&Ms to add a little color. I think that now, if we go into a diabetic coma tonight, I'll update. Okay. I'm not sure I can really add any more. Looks chocolatey. I think my kids are going to love it. Let me think. There is nothing else, I don't believe, that I'm going to be adding here. I do believe that the kids are going to love it, and I think that everyone else will certainly love the plum jam cake especially. Anyway, I will go ahead and I'll have the recipes and things that I used in this up on my A Life on the Farm blog, in the farm kitchen section, and I'll get that up as soon as I can. You guys go check that out, and be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notifications bell. We do a lot more of this kind of stuff. I do a lot of stuff in the farm kitchen, but we do a lot of building. We're homesteaders, so we do a lot out here with our animals and our gardening and building, and we're growing this homestead. So you guys go ahead and keep checking back with us to see what else is coming, and I'm telling you, there's lots more coming.